The CSR Pyramid. The CSR Pyramid, also known as Carroll's CSR Pyramid, is a model developed by American professor Archie B Carroll. The CSR Pyramid was published in the article titled The Pyramid of Corporate Social Responsibility Toward the Moral Management of Organizational Stakeholders in the journal Business Horizons in July-August 1991. Before the article was published, a profound debate existed about a company's responsibility. Many believed that a company's only responsibility was towards its owners, and that it was about making money for them. However, some also believed that the laws should be complied with. Throughout the 1960s and 1970s, more people believed that companies had responsibilities to stakeholders other than shareholders and the law. Stakeholders are individuals or groups interested in the company's activities and are affected by its decisions. Social responsibility refers to a company's decisions and actions for reasons not solely based on the company's financial or technical interests. It can cover all the different stakeholders affected by the company's actions. Internally, it can be the employees. Externally, it can be the local community. Managers have grappled with corporate responsibility towards society for many years, and the limits of responsibility are up for discussion in individual organizations. As a significant model in corporate social responsibility, the CSR Pyramid serves as a crucial starting point for this discussion. The CSR Pyramid is a widely used framework for explaining the different layers of corporate social responsibility. The CSR Pyramid delineates companies' responsibilities into 4 layers, each fulfilled in a specific order, from the most fundamental, at the base, to the most idealistic, at the apex. The 4 layers of the CSR Pyramid are economic responsibility, legal responsibility, ethical responsibility, and philanthropic responsibility. Now each layer is reviewed individually. Economic responsibility is the first layer. This is the foundation of the pyramid. A business must make money. A company must create profit. These are the most basic responsibilities that management must fulfill. They must be able to pay employees, comply with payments to suppliers, etc. Without financial sustainability, the company cannot fulfill the 3 layers above. It is a requirement of society that the company be profitable. Legal responsibility is the second layer. Comply with the law. Companies must follow applicable laws and regulations in the country where they operate. Examples: tax laws, occupational health and safety, product standards, etc. The environment, that is, society, requires that the company adhere to the rules. Ethical responsibility is the third layer of the pyramid. Do the right thing, even if it's not a legal requirement. That is, act morally and responsibly. Companies should act morally and ethically, avoiding exploiting labor, polluting or misleading consumers. Even if it's not illegal, it's bad style. This responsibility goes beyond the law and is about society's expectations. It is essential to act in a way that is consistent with the expectations of society's customs and ethical norms. Do what is fair and reasonable. Avoid harming anyone or anything. Philanthropic responsibility is the fourth and final layer. Be a good corporate citizen and give back to society. Giving back refers to voluntary initiatives such as charity, sponsorships, and support for education and local communities. While the environment expects the company to give back, it is not a strict requirement. The environment doesn't consider the company unethical if it doesn't. However, there's always a societal expectation that the company will pay back, which can be seen as societal pressure on companies. This was a review of the 4 levels of the CSR pyramid. Here is a summary. Economic responsibility. Make money, be profitable. Legal responsibility. Comply with laws and regulations. Ethical responsibility. Do the right thing even when it's not legally required. Philanthropic responsibility. Contribute positively to society through charity, sponsorships, etc. Now follow 2 examples of the use of the CSR pyramid. The 2 examples concern 2 Danish companies. Lego is a toy company known for its colourful plastic bricks, which snap together to build anything from simple houses to complex models. Vestas designs, manufactures, installs, and services wind turbines. Lego is the first to be reviewed in relation to the CSR pyramid. Lego's economic responsibility is that it must be a profitable business. They achieve this through innovative products that create value for owners, benefiting employees and society. The profit is invested in product development and sustainability. It is all done based on the sentence, "We must ensure the survival and growth of the company." Lego's legal responsibilities. Lego complies with international and national laws relating to product safety, taxation, and working conditions. Their toys are thoroughly tested to comply with EU and US safety standards. This is based on the statement, "We operate within the law in all markets in which we operate." Lego's ethical responsibility. Lego works to reduce its environmental impact and sets high ethical standards in its supply chain. For example, they do not use oil-based plastic in their products and work on bio-based alternatives. They do not cooperate with suppliers who use child labor or poor working conditions. This approach to ethics is based on the statement, "We do the right thing even when it's not legally required." Lego's philanthropic responsibility. The Lego Foundation invests billions in children's play and learning worldwide. They donate Lego brick sets to schools, hospitals, and relief organizations. They support programs like the Build the Change and STEM education. This approach to philanthropic responsibility is based on the statement, "We want to make a positive difference in society." Some will argue that it is not pure philanthropy, but also part of image maintenance for the Lego brand. They will say that genuine philanthropy is given anonymously, where no one can see who the donor is. The counter-argument is that the company wants to do something good within an area it knows about to ensure the support has the desired effect. Now follows the example of Vestas and the CSR pyramid. Vestas' economic responsibility. Be profitable. Vestas must deliver value to its shareholders by producing and selling global wind turbines and energy solutions. They invest in innovation and technology to maintain competitiveness and drive the green transition. Economic sustainability makes it possible to create jobs and develop new solutions. The approach is based on the statement, "Green wind energy must also be good for business." Vestas' legal responsibility. Comply with the law. Vestas complies with all its country's environmental, occupational health and safety, and tax obligations. They ensure that their products comply with global and national standards for safety and performance. They follow rules on transparency in reporting and anti-corruption. The approach is based on the statement, "We act responsibly and legally everywhere." Vestas' ethical responsibility. Do the right thing, even if it's not a requirement. Vestas works actively with sustainability and has committed to becoming CO2 neutral in its operations by 2030. They set requirements for suppliers regarding human rights and labour rights. They take responsibility for the life cycle of their products, including recycling and waste management of old turbine blades. The approach is based on the statement, "Our mission is to create a sustainable future. Ethical leadership is the key." Vestas' Philanthropic Responsibility. Contribution to society. Vestas participates in social programs and collaborates with educational institutions. They support local development in areas where they install turbines, for example, through job creation, education, and infrastructure. They donate to green research and sustainable initiatives. The starting point here is the statement, "We will actively contribute to society's green transition." Now, let's look at a critique of the model. A criticism of the CSR Pyramid, Carroll's CSR Pyramid, is typically directed at its simplification of corporate social responsibility and its emphasis on financial profit over other considerations. The criticism is that the model places financial responsibility as the most fundamental, and philanthropic responsibility at the top as the least important. This suggests that companies should only assume ethical or philanthropic responsibility after meeting financial goals. This risks trivializing social and ethical considerations. The model reflects a Western understanding of the role and responsibility of a company in a capitalist context. It does not consider cultural differences in how CSR is perceived and practiced, for example, in Asian or African contexts, where social responsibility may be more collectively oriented. Philanthropic responsibility is portrayed as optional and less necessary. Many critics believe that companies should be obliged to actively contribute to society through donations, where they pay for them, sustainability, labour conditions, etc. Ignores the stakeholder perspective. The model focuses primarily on the company's internal priorities, which are often shaped by management. It does not sufficiently consider the needs of stakeholders, including customers, employees, the environment, and local communities, which are central to modern CSR theory. The model is outdated in a sustainability context. The CSR pyramid was developed before the current climate and sustainability movement. Therefore, the model does not explicitly address environmental responsibility or the UN Sustainable Development Goals. It seems outdated in the light of modern ESG thinking, environmental, social, and governance. The criticism concludes that the CSR pyramid is a valuable historical tool for understanding corporate responsibility. Still, it is too simple and outdated in light of today's complex societal and environmental challenges. Many companies and theorists are now calling for more dynamic and context-based models of CSR. However, its simple structure makes it a good place to start when your company needs an overview of CSR initiatives. From there, you can continually expand with other alternatives.